Sorry for a little cutoff there. My brother was ordering dinner. um, so where were we? So yeah, also to, so we were just talking about social media and the effects that Neptune and Saturn can have on social media. So the one thing I was actually talking about too, that I was mentioning, was hopes, wishes, and ideals becoming reality and appearing directly in front of you in real time. Effortless manifestation / enhanced visual techniques, plus same hopes and dreams being not as grand as expected. Yeah, there is that kind of Saturn influence there. That could be possible. Water shortage, as I was just explaining in the other part of the video. Fake gurus and guides being exposed to, and also those in entertainment, and a reality check or a fantasy check. So, some inventions and creations of that time to better encapsulate this time period. The first typewriter in 1868. The Grand Traveling Museum by P.T. Barnum, 1870, aka The Greatest Show on Earth. The publishing of Alice in Wonderland in 1865 by Lewis Carroll. And the creation of the periodic table by Dmitri Mendeleev, 1869. And also the first submarine, the Gatling gun, and the first traffic light system. And the events that coincided with this period. Of course, as we mentioned, the American Civil War, the Civil Rights Act, where men were allowed to vote, but not yet women, the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing of the slaves, building of the Chandler Chemistry Lab, the first modern chemistry lab, the founding, actually I don't know if I want to say that one for you too, but it is 3 Ks, I'll just put it that way. In 1866, first transcontinental railroad in 1869, Henry VIII declaring himself as the supreme head of the church in 1534, and the War of Spanish Succession fought to take over a naval base. Does that say 1704? I don't know. And also with that Henry VIII note too, it's also important to note that Pluto was in Aquarius, and then this was right after Uranus in Gemini. So just so you get a good synopsis of what Neptune and Saturn and Aries is going to bring to our world, it is going to be absolutely insane, no doubt. But, you know, the worst possible thing I think that could come of this transit is really being lost and confused within the self and having to take actions which we're not sure about, that leave us scared, that leave us frightened. But I think the best manifestation of this is an enhanced and awakened, more enlightened sense of self and understanding and compassion for not only ourselves but the world we live in, and how we take action, more mindful action that's based on more spiritual, higher ideals. And so there's this really nice evening that can come from this very potentially rocky contention and difference. And from 2025 to 2039, there definitely will be a tough time to adjust, especially with Neptune in Aries, and then with Saturn in Aries going to be dipping its toes with Neptune next year, as well as Uranus in Gemini. And then February 20th, it'll be full swing with Neptune, Saturn in Aries, and then with Uranus in Gemini. I don't know, I think it's January 26th, or that may be a little bit later. I think it's either January or March of 2026 that Uranus will officially enter Gemini, and not just be visiting there for like a little swimmy swim. But and it's truly it's so incredible, because not only is Saturn completing its almost 29.5-year cycle, but Neptune is completing a whole 165-year transit around the whole zodiac belt. Now it's starting all fresh in Aries. Isn't that just incredible? It might be incredible to like an astronomy or astrology nerd like me, but you know, when you look at the history, you look at the way it's affected humans, it's affected humanity, it's going to be really profound. There's just no other way to put it. I'll be surprised if society's just still the same after this. That'll just shock and surprise me. Then maybe I could put some of my astrology delusions to bed, you know? The Neptune Saturn being in Aries, right? Even further encapsulating that. But yeah, that is my synopsis and my summary of what Neptune Saturn Aries could bring to the world. Especially, you got to consider that we're living in times where technology is evolving so fast and at such an alarming rate, and that, you know, Neptune, last time Neptune was in Aries, you know, people were rocking like freaking like stockings and freaking, like, like freaking like berets on a regular basis and everything, you know. So heck, even cowboy hats for that matter. Although that way would more like Neptune in Taurus or Neptune Gemini, but still the point stands. Yeah, I hope this was enlightening. Definitely feel free to tell me what you think in the comments. Is there any advice that maybe you feel like we should have during this transit? More things we should be prepared for? Something you want to school me on? I don't know. Hate in the comments. I don't know. Do whatever the fuck you want. Anyway, that is my interpretation, and I'm gonna be eating a little bit of pizza in a little while, and some penne vodka sauce. That has nothing to do with astrology whatsoever, but looking forward to that. Anyway, yeah, feel free to comment and tell me what you think. And with that, have a great evening. And as far as the one last little thing, I guess, as far as this transit goes, whatever happens, even if it is scary or it's terrifying in the moment, realize that it is going to be a phase, and realize that, there is something truly to be learned and gained through this. Even if it is like dramatic spiritual, it could be dramatic spiritual warfare, it could be mass scarcity of, supplies and everything that could be possibly rampant, but just make sure to try to stay objective, learn to breathe a little bit here, learn to meditate, learn to reflect, and that I think will really serve you well in what could be a potentially chaotic time period, but what will eventually also lead to greater individual freedoms and greater spiritual, intellectual freedoms as well, and more of a say and more better ways of being able to express each other, and find more like-minded folks and such things like that, which I think will be a very beautiful effect of this transit and just the talent triangle in general. It's truly amazing how these planets are all just uniting all at the same time. It's amazing. But with that, I think I'm going to conclude this video. Bye-bye.